Welcome back, viewers. In our previous video, we took a deep dive into the tyrannical nature of the ego, that construct we call I. We explored how this I dominates our lives, fueled by toxic pride, leading to suffering and delusion. Now let's talk about humility. Not the kind where you beat yourself up or pretend to be less than you are. That's not real humility. We're diving into real, liberating humility, the kind that can break the chains of self-obsession and open up a world of genuine connection and peace. I know what you might be thinking. Humility? In this world? Are you kidding me? Especially if you're struggling, if life's been beating you down, the last thing you want to hear is that you should be humble. But hear me out, because this isn't about making yourself smaller. It's about becoming part of something bigger. Think about your pain for a moment, the anxiety that keeps you up at night, the depression that colors your world gray, the anger that burns in your chest. Where does it come from? Can you see how it is rooted in this relentless focus on me, myself, or I? We're trapped in a cage of our own making, constantly comparing, constantly judging, constantly fearing. But what if there was a way out? What if, instead of shrinking yourself, you could expand your sense of self so wide that it includes everything? That's what true humility offers. True humility invites us to examine and let go of our personal agendas. So often we move through life with a rigid set of expectations and desires, constantly striving to bend reality to our will. We have an idea of how things should be, and we suffer when life doesn't conform to this limited self-serving vision, or maybe I should say, ego-serving vision. These agendas, these individual plans and desires, are in fact the very scaffolding that upholds the aches and pains of life. They're the stories we tell ourselves about who we are, what we need, and how the world should be. But here's the profound truth. These personal agendas are veils obscuring our true nature and purpose. Humility invites us to loosen our grip on these personal agendas. As we do so, something remarkable happens. The illusion of separation begins to dissolve. We start to sense the vast, interconnected web of existence of which we are an integral part. This doesn't mean we become passive or indifferent. Rather, we align ourselves with the flow of life itself. Instead of pushing our individual desires upstream, we open ourselves to the current of the universe. We begin to sense a deeper purpose that transcends our limited ego-driven goals. As we embrace this humble perspective, we may find that our actions become more effective, more harmonious with the world around us. But there's a paradox here. This effectiveness comes not from striving harder, but from surrendering our insistence on control. Without the blinders of our personal agenda, we can see opportunities we might have missed before. We can collaborate more authentically with others, recognizing that their success and ours are not separate. We develop a resilience that comes not from rigid determination, but from flexible alignment with the ebb and flow of life. Ultimately, as we let go of our personal agendas, we open ourselves to the truth that we are like waves in the ocean, distinct in form, but not separate in essence. Our true power, our true purpose, emerges not from asserting our individuality, but from recognizing and embracing our fundamental unity with all that is. This journey towards humility is also a journey of surrender. Not a passive, defeated surrender, but an active letting go of the need to control everything, to be right all the time, to have all the answers. It's surrendering the exhausting pretense that you're separate and superior. It's letting go of any idea that things should be different for you just because you want them to. At the core of our suffering lies a fundamental misunderstanding, the belief that we are separate, isolated egos battling against a hostile world. This illusion of separation is the root of our pain. Think about it. When do you suffer most? It's when you're caught up in thoughts of me and mine. When you're worried about your reputation, your achievements, your possessions. When you're comparing yourself to others, feeling inferior or superior. When you're replaying past hurts or anxiously anticipating future problems. All of these are manifestations of the ego's desperate attempt to maintain its sense of separate, superior existence. Now imagine for a moment what life would be like without this constant self-referencing, without the need to defend, promote, or protect this idea of a separate self. This is where true humility comes in. Think of times when you've been fully absorbed in an activity, perhaps creating art, playing music, or being in nature. In those moments, your sense of a separate self fades away. There's no anxiety, no regret, no fear, just pure, present experience. That's a taste of what surrender feels like. Now imagine bringing that quality of surrender into your daily life. When faced with a challenge, instead of tensing up and resisting, you open yourself to it. You surrender your need for things to be different than they are. This doesn't mean you don't take action, but your action comes from a place of acceptance and wonder, rather than resistance. In this state of humble surrender, where would pain find a foothold? The ego's pain comes from its constant struggle against reality, its perpetual sense of lack, its endless comparisons and judgments. But when you're humble, you have nothing to defend. When you surrender, you have nothing to fight against. Of course, this doesn't mean you'll never experience physical pain or emotional discomfort. But without the ego's amplification, these experiences can pass through you without leaving scars. You can face life's challenges with equanimity, knowing that you are more than your temporary experiences. Cultivating humility and surrender is a profound path to healing. It's not about adding something to yourself, but about removing the obstacles to your natural state of peace and wholeness. As you practice letting go of the ego's grip, you may find that much of your suffering simply dissolves. Remember, this is a journey, not a destination. There will be times when the ego reasserts itself, when old patterns of thought and behavior resurface. But with patience and practice, you can gradually loosen the grip of the ego and open yourself to a more expansive, peaceful way of being. Let's now explore some practical exercises. These practices are designed to help us cultivate both humility and the art of surrender in our daily lives. 1. The perspective shift exercise. Once a day, take a moment to zoom out mentally. Imagine viewing yourself from above, then your city, your country, the planet, and finally, the vastness of the universe. Reflect on your place within this cosmic scale. This exercise can help reduce self-importance and allow a sense of interconnectedness. 2. The gratitude web. Each evening, write down 3 things you're grateful for. But here's the twist. For each item, acknowledge at least 2 other people or factors that contributed to it. This helps us recognize the web of interconnections that support our lives. 3. The I don't know challenge. For 1 week, make a conscious effort to say I don't know at least once a day when you're unsure about something. Notice any discomfort or resistance. This practice helps us embrace uncertainty and opens us to learning. Number 4, the listening mirror. In your next few conversations, focus entirely on listening. After the other person speaks, paraphrase what they've said before responding. This exercise helps us step out of our own perspective and truly hear others. 5. The ego observation log. For a day, keep a small notebook with you. Each time you notice your ego asserting itself through pride, defensiveness, or a need for recognition, note it down. Don't judge, just observe. This heightens our awareness of ego patterns. 6. The anonymous kind act. Perform 1 act of kindness each day without anyone knowing it was you. This helps us do good for its own sake, rather than for recognition. 7. The growth mindset reframe. When you face a challenge or make a mistake, practice reframing it as an opportunity for growth. Ask yourself, what is the lesson in this? This cultivates humility by keeping us in a learning mindset. 8. The interconnection meditation. Spend 10 minutes daily in quiet reflection. Focus on your breath, then gradually expand your awareness to the air around you, the ground beneath you, and outward to all living beings. Reflect on how your existence is supported by countless others. 9. The beginner's mind activity. Once a week, approach a familiar task as if you're doing it for the first time. Whether it's brushing your teeth, making coffee, or playing with your children, bring fresh attention to it. This cultivates a humble, open attitude to even the most routine aspects of life. 10. The appreciation expression. Each day, express genuine appreciation to someone for a quality they possess or something they've done. Focus on being specific and sincere. This practice helps us recognize the value in others and reduces our focus on I. Be patient with yourself as you integrate these practices into your life. Over time, you may notice subtle shifts in your perception and behavior. By cultivating this kind of humility, we open ourselves to a richer, more connected, and ultimately more fulfilling way of being. we create space to act from our true essence rather than from our wounds and defensive patterns. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of pride, humility, and the nature of self. Until next time, may you find peace in letting go of the tyranny of I.